She didn't change overnight. You just ignored the slow fade. At first, it was small. The replies got shorter. The laughter felt lighter. The eye contact didn't linger the way it used to. She still says "I love you," but it sounds rehearsed, like she's honoring a contract instead of feeling a pulse. You feel it in your body before you admit it in your mind. Something is off. And the more you try to fix it, the more distant she feels. You tell yourself she's stressed, busy, hormonal, confused. You blame work. You blame timing. You blame yourself. But deep down, you're starting to realize something you don't want to face. She's not fighting for the connection anymore. When a woman is falling out of love, it rarely looks dramatic. It looks subtle, controlled, quiet. She stops bringing things up, stops complaining, stops asking for reassurance. And you think that means peace. It doesn't. It means detachment. Sign number 1, emotional withdrawal. She used to share everything. Random thoughts, small frustrations, silly stories. Now conversations are functional, surface level, polite. She's no longer emotionally leaning on you. That's not maturity. That's her nervous system slowly pulling back to protect itself. When emotional safety drops, women detach before they exit. They process the breakup internally long before they announce it externally. Sign number 2, reduced curiosity about you. When she's in love, she wants to know everything. How your meeting went. What you're thinking about. Why you seemed quiet. Curiosity is attraction in motion. When the curiosity dies, it's often because she's no longer emotionally invested in your inner world. You've become predictable. Or worse, irrelevant to her emotional growth. Dopamine thrives on novelty and emotional stimulation. When the relationship becomes a routine validation loop, same dates, same patterns, same energy, attraction polarity weakens. Comfort replaces tension. Stability replaces spark. And if she's wired more toward avoidant attachment, too much emotional closeness can trigger her fear of losing independence. She pulls back to regulate herself. Sign number 3, she stops initiating. Calls, texts, plans, physical touch. It becomes your job. You rationalize it by saying, "I'm the man. I lead." No. You're compensating. Healthy attraction has reciprocity. When effort becomes one-sided, the power dynamic shifts. You start chasing. She starts evaluating. Chasing isn't romantic. It signals imbalance. And imbalance kills desire. Sign number 4, irritation increases over small things. When love is strong, flaws feel manageable. When feelings fade, small habits become amplified. The way you chew. The way you joke. The way you relax. It all starts to annoy her. That irritation isn't about the behavior. It's about emotional disconnection. Her subconscious is looking for justification to distance. Sign number 5, intimacy becomes mechanical or rare. Physical intimacy for women is deeply tied to emotional safety. If she's mentally checked out, her body follows. She may still engage, but it lacks presence. Or she avoids it altogether. Not because she hates you, but because attraction requires polarity, tension, and emotional alignment. Without that, touch feels forced. Sign number 6, she stops imagining the future with you. Pay attention to language. If we slowly turns into I, that's not grammar. That's psychology. When she no longer includes you in long-term plans, it means she's emotionally preparing for independence. The bond is weakening. Sign number 7, she seeks validation elsewhere. It doesn't always mean cheating. Sometimes it's subtle, posting more selfies, engaging more with male attention, reconnecting with old contacts. When internal validation from the relationship drops, she looks for external reinforcement. Dopamine doesn't disappear. It relocates. Sign number 8, conflict disappears completely. This one confuses men. You think fewer arguments mean progress. But indifference is louder than anger. When she stops fighting, it's often because she no longer sees long-term value in resolving issues. Conflict requires investment. Silence requires detachment. Now let's talk about you. When you sense her pulling away, your attachment system activates. If you lean anxious, you chase harder. More messages. More reassurance. More overthinking. You try to fix what you feel slipping. But desperation lowers attraction. It signals fear of abandonment. And fear erodes polarity. If you lean avoidant, you pretend not to care. You withdraw emotionally first to protect your ego. But that emotional coldness can accelerate her detachment. This is where ego becomes dangerous. Instead of accepting reality, you negotiate with it. You tell yourself, if I just improve this one thing, she'll come back. That's denial. Attraction is not repaired through panic-driven effort. It's either alive or it's fading. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Sometimes she's not confused. She's just done. Women often emotionally exit months before physically leaving. They process grief internally. By the time they say, I need space, they've already detached. You're reacting to a breakup she mentally completed weeks ago. And here's the deeper layer. Love doesn't die only because of mistakes. It dies from slow erosion. Predictability without polarity. Comfort without growth. Validation without challenge. Emotional dependency instead of mutual desire. When you overinvest, overtext, overexplain, overaccommodate, you reduce mystery. You remove tension. You collapse the attraction dynamic into safety only. Safety is necessary. But safety alone doesn't sustain desire. Men bond through loyalty and shared experience. Women bond through emotional depth and ongoing emotional stimulation. When that stimulation fades, so does attraction. Not because she's shallow, but because her nervous system responds to emotional energy, not obligation. Now here's the shift. You cannot force someone to stay emotionally connected. You cannot argue someone back into love. And you definitely cannot beg someone into desire. The only power you have is your stability. When you sense withdrawal, instead of chasing, regulate yourself. Pull your energy back to neutral. Stop over-investing. Stop monitoring her mood. Stop trying to earn back something that should be freely given. If she re-engages, it will be because she feels polarity again, not pressure. And if she doesn't, then you gained clarity instead of wasting years in emotional limbo. Detachment is not manipulation. It's self-respect. Sometimes the relationship isn't collapsing because you failed. It's collapsing because it outgrew its emotional capacity. And the hardest truth? You can love someone deeply and still not be enough for where they are in life. If she's falling out of love, your job isn't to panic. It's to observe. Accept. Adjust. Because the moment you stop chasing someone who's slowly leaving is the moment you stop abandoning yourself. Sometimes the closure you're waiting for is the courage to stop holding on to what's already letting go.